The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
As soon as a woman calls herself independent, that's a red flag to me. We don't like independent women.
And asked you out within a week, you need to drop it. If you are not in a committed relationship within 2.5 to 3 months, you need to drop it.
Ooh.
If you are not engaged or married within 2 years, you need to drop it.
3 things I wish I knew about dating now that I am married. Stop dating, even if it's for a second. Please stop basing your entire existence, your entire 20s, or adult life as a whole on being chosen, sis. You'll have a better outcome with men.
That when you get in relationship with somebody, make sure you have enough capacity in yourself for their change. Because if you only have enough room for who they are, you're going to be disenfranchised when they change on you, because they will change.
Right. Why we not talk? Well, let's talk about it. We live. We live. Yeah.
Right now, we in the jet. We are on our way, and we bringing nothing but love and positive vibes.
Just in Shreveport news, Puff Daddy's homes have just been raided by the feds. But it appears that Diddy is on his private jet, leaving his kids behind.
Wow, that bitch left his kids and all. Man, them allegations must be true type shit.
I've been saying this the entire time.
Did he do it? I know you lying. Diddy calling you 50?
Please, God told me to ask y'all for help. I need your help. I can't do it alone. I'm overwhelmed. I'm crazy.
Everything that you know is a lie. We wasn't messing with nobody.
You gotta tell him no.
Hey, ask him, did he knock off Tupac?
I'm doing God's work.
And we all guilty of it.
I ain't gonna lie, man, I just had a 3.5 hour cry.
What the f*** is the matter with this nigga?
I like when you like this, Daddy. I like when you scrambling and scraping. I like that. Love is in the building.
Take that.
Be a monster and hold girls against their will, chain them up in my basement, and don't let them eat and don't let them out. I hog-tied her. Quit playing.
And I want to just tell you how proud I am of you. Sometimes you have to really go with that decision in your gut. And in my gut, I was like, you need to get on the plane. And God told me, it's time. And we needed to have a story that had a happy ending.
So they actually got a tape of Diddy busting up Meek Mill. Bro, you gotta be playing. Man, Puffy the real booty warrior, dog.
They actually taped it. Meek Mills is like Puffy.
Man, this shit is getting wild.
Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
That's the show, Dada.
The last 7 days have been totally insane, but we made it. Now buckle up and get ready for the most organic conversation on the internet with your hosts, The Force, The King, The Kamikaze, The Great and Terrible. Up to it, down to it. Pour a glass and talk some trash. Welcome to the show, and thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a good time tonight right along with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Let's go up to it. Yes, sir!
Gotta love some of the stuff that's going on in the world. You just never know what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis. It gets wild out here. But with that being said, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Assuming nothing's changed since last week, and I can still call you that. Welcome back. As you can see, I am solo dolo for now. We're going to see what happens a little bit later on. The fellas got dad business and teacher business to deal with at this exact moment. So y'all got me tonight. Yes, sir. We about to have a good time. About to have a real good time. Got a real good show lined up for y'all. This is shout out to the viewers and the viewer submissions. This is what's been going on. I'm going to cover a lot of that tonight. A lot of the viewer submissions we've been having over the last week or two. And I think some of them tie up and line up real well. So y'all have a conversation with me in the comments. Run your mouth, talk your trash, pour your glass, and let's have us a good time. Speaking of pouring glasses, this is normally the part where the fellas would tell me what they're drinking on tonight. So y'all tell me in the comments what you drinking on, right? Even if it's water, grape juice, apple juice, anything like that. As is our always standing rule, as long as it's not Aquafina, it's all good. Ain't nobody mad with the devil. All right, and Aquafina. But let me know what you're drinking in the comments. Right now, I have so I got some wine in this mystery mug right here, right? And then we got some. Never had this before. This is Truly brand fruit punch. Never had this before. What does it say? Boulder flavor hard seltzer. All right. Well, I guess we're going to see what this is about. We're going to see what this is hitting on, and I'm going to see what the wine is hitting on. Hey, shout out, Mo. I see you with the lemonade in the glass. Shout out to you. I dig that. My guy. Yeah, so I'm going to see what this Truly is hitting on. Some bitch hitting on two. Look here, man. It's probably because it's hard seltzer. I'm not a big fan of hard seltzer. Maybe that's why. But that I expected from a can was colored like this. We got this much bold color, right? I expected a can that had that much bold color in it to have a lot more flavor in it than what I just experienced. That was profoundly disappointing. But it's all good. It's all good. This is why I have a backup plan right here, right? Always got to keep a backup plan. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get into the first little bit of a topic I want to talk about. I don't have a lot of time to spend on these opening topics. I do want to get to some of the submissions that have been sent in, but we got to talk about Diddy. We got to do it, man. We got to talk about Diddy. The jokes are going to reign supreme. The jokes are going to fly all night long, all week long, all month long, I'm sure. That is at least until he snitches on everybody. At least that's what I think is going to happen. I don't know. He's got a lot of people that have showed up to his parties. He's had a lot of people that know what's going on. A lot of video is resurfacing. A lot of stuff is coming back out that was already out. You know, Cat Williams' predictions so far that it's up for a lot of these people in 2024. Seems like he's right. I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Diddy down in the comments. I found that video at the beginning that you guys saw. It was just I thought it was hilarious. I think it's funny. But who knows, man? There's so many people that went to these parties. I've seen lists that have been making their rounds on X or Twitter. I've seen some people that were talking about who might have been on this list. I mean, people from LeBron James to Barack Obama and Jennifer Lopez. And I mean, just really pretty much if you can think, TD Jakes, if you think of them, they probably was on this list and they probably was out here with the diddler. They was probably doing things with the diddler. I don't know. They was involved maybe. Maybe they saw some things. Maybe they heard some things. I don't know anything. All right. So all of this is speculation for me. I'm enjoying watching it. But I don't know what's going to happen with this, man. It seems to me that Diddy is the Black Jeffrey Epstein. And honestly, I hope for his sake, and I mean this seriously, I hope for his sake that he doesn't get Epstein. I really do. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? Am I gonna get canceled for saying somebody got Epstein? Because Epstein didn't kill himself. I think we all know that. All right, okay. All right. That's all I'm saying about the diddler. Moving on, we got another little bit of social media controversy that seems to be making its rounds, and it's which cheater is worse? I guess that's kind of the way I look at it. We got Cardi B and Offset. We seem to be having a bit of a discussion about who cheated more, who cheated worse, and the internet is all a buzz about it. So I'm gonna put an end to all of this right here, right now. All right, all of this Cardi B and Offset. Who was wrong? Who was more wrong? Right? Cardi B, was she wrong for doing the deed with Offset baby still in her? Allegedly. I don't know. Was Offset wrong in the first place for having cheated on Cardi B? My question is, what do y'all expect? Did y'all expect, did anybody expect them to be like the paladins of virtue or something? Like, you know? I mean, don't get me wrong. I get it. It's an interesting conversation, I suppose. It's an entertaining conversation, I suppose. But I mean, come on now. What did anybody expect? What? These ain't exactly people that are role models. I don't think anyway. These ain't exactly people that are role models. I certainly wouldn't want my kids looking up to either one of them. Although their reoccurring role on Baby Shark is pretty hilarious, and their role in the Baby Shark big movie or whatever that thing was called, they actually was pretty hilarious in that. That was kind of funny. I know about that because I'm a father of daughters. Number one dad, so I watched it with them. That's right, because I screen my kids' shows. Y'all ain't finna just put stuff on the TV and I don't know nothing about it. Now I'm watching all the shows. Because I don't trust y'all. Not to be trusted. After all this time, I've learned that certain things and certain people are not to be trusted. Speaking of time, it's time that we give our shout out. And this is normally where, Kev, hopefully Kev get back. He's able to get on later because I do want to hear his take on this. But as I always call him, our basketball aficionado, as many of us expected, Caitlin Clark won the 2024 Rookie of the Year award. An outstanding job. NBA had a hell of a season for real, but highlighted and headlined, I think, by Caitlin Clark. She won the Rookie of the Year award. A big shout out to Asia Wilson, who also walked away with MVP honors. Matter of fact, I got a quick video about that, so let's take a look.
Well, the votes are in and it's unanimous.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark was voted WNBA Rookie of the Year. Surprise, surprise. Put up the stats that the league had never seen before. She broke the single season record with 337 assists, including a league record 19 in one game. Clark also scored the most points ever for a rookie.
Good for her. And got to shout out Las Vegas Aces star Asia Wilson, the unanimous choice for the WNBA's most valuable player. She became the first player in league history to score more than 1,000 points in a season. This is Wilson's third MVP award, having won it in 2020 and 2022. Yeah. Good for her.
She's been killing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely killing the game. Shout out again to the WNBA. So far, a phenomenal season. Still got a little bit to go with the playoffs. The Indiana Fever made their exit from the playoffs, getting swept. They got beat 2-0 or 2 games to nothing. Which I got to be honest, I think that's weird. I think a 2-game best of 3 series. No, I don't like that. I think all of them should be best of 5. That's just my personal opinion. They should all be best of 5. But especially the way they do it, because you don't even get a home game, right? They still do it with the 2-2-1 format, right? So the first team gets the first 2 home games. So if they win the first 2 games at home, the other team doesn't even get a playoff game. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that format. That's just my personal opinion. I think that's something that the WNBA should change. But the season itself was good. We still got a lot more to go. Unfortunately, the Fever got swept. Unfortunately for Caitlin Clark, the Rookie of the Year, the Fever got swept. But again, hell of a season for all of them. All of them. I think with the light shining the brightest, I think with the most people in the stands, more people with eyes on this game than ever before on the ladies' game than ever before. I think they really showed their asses. I think they, I mean that in the basketball sense, right? Hey, we got a spy. We got a sister-in-law in the building. What's that? She made the drive. She made the drive all the way down here from New Jersey. I'm not gonna say nothing about New Jersey this time. I'm gonna let that one slide. I'm gonna let it slide this time. But yeah. So anyway, like I said, shout out to the WNBA, man. They did their thing, and Caitlin Clark winning Rookie of the Year. I hope people just stop hating on them. Right now that she's out of the WNBA season. Right, just focus on doing better. I love what A'ja Wilson did with her third league MVP. She did it in glorious fashion by setting the record, scoring over 1,000 points in the season. Something's never been done before in the history of the game. So fantastic season again for all of them. Big shout out to them. I hope they continue to grow from here. Some may make the argument that the jealousy is good for the game. I think it is fine if they have rivalries and beefs. That's cool as long as nobody actually gets hurt. I don't think we should be aiming for people's eyes with your long nails. Yeah, I saw that. I don't think we should be shoulder checking people like that, But hey, whatever. If it makes the game more entertaining, that nobody stopped watching so far this season. So if it's working, let it keep working. If they're putting butts in seats, let them keep putting butts in seats. And if they keep making money, let them doggone keep making money. I'm all for the things that makes profit. I'm not for the WNBA making, getting paid or players getting paid just because they're women playing a game. They are playing a game. They're playing a hell of a game. They're doing a great job, and more people can watch them. And as more people watch them, as they grow their market, as they focus on the game and not on this individual crap that they get focused on sometimes, not on these identity politics that some of them get focused on, if they focus on the game and just making the game better and making the rivalries about who's a better player and about how they want to beat this person in, in their record or their scoring record, or want to have an overall better record and stuff like that. Make it about the fun stuff that's going to make us tune into the game. That's just what I think anyway. That's just my thought. I'm off my soapbox about the WNBA. On to another soapbox. One thing I will say about Caitlin Clark is a lot of people gave her grief for some of the games that she had this season, okay? And, she had a lot of games where she had 6+ turnovers. She had a couple games where she shot the ball horrendously. Game 1 of the playoffs comes to mind where she shot the ball horrendously. And people lambasted her for all of that. The games where she had 1 or 2 assists, 1 or 2 rebounds, only a couple points here and there. Understandably so. But the point I want to make here is she is a rookie. She's 22 years old? I mean, reasonably, she's got a good 10, 15 years left in her, right? We're going to see her game evolve. We're going to see it grow. She's going to get better. She's going to get used to the grind. She's going to get used to the speed. It happens with all rookies. Very few people, I can't think of any. Excuse me. I can't think of any rookies that came in out the blue, brand new, and just set the world ablaze. Jordan didn't do it. LeBron did pretty good his first season. Magic and Larry, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like they did it to an extent, but like there aren't too many people that come in as rookies and dominate, period. I think for what she did, I think she did very well. I think she dominated at a certain level. She certainly elevated a team, or I would say is the catalyst for elevating a team that without her was not a playoff team. With her is a playoff team. You got to admit that. And they should have got a playoff game. Again, that's something wrong with the WNBA's format for playoffs, but that's just my opinion. But overall, I think she did good. I think she did really well. And I think she's going to get a lot better with time. I think it's too early to make a judgment and say that she's not going to be this good or is going to be that great. I think she is going to be great, but time will tell, right? And if this first season is any indication, because I think she's going to just get better, she might end up being one of the most dominant players in WNBA history, maybe short of Asia Wilson. Maybe that'll be the only one. That'll be 1 and 2. Who knows? And what a rivalry and what a story that could become. So things tend to get better with time. A lot of good things get better with time. And as you saw from the title, you know why you clicked on it. We're talking about relationships because our goal, our mission is always to make the family great again. That's right. All right. So in our mission to do that, I want to get to some viewer submissions that came across my royal ear. The first one I want to talk about has to do with time specifically. And it has to do with, I guess to best say it, how much time is enough time, right? How much time is enough time for a relationship, right? In other words, how do you know if basically somebody is wasting your time, right? You've been with them for so long that at a point, you just feel like they're wasting your time. They're just leading you on, right? What is that point? We've talked about it a couple of times on this show. I've personally been vocal in saying that I think it takes however much time it takes. I mean, whatever that means, it takes the time that it takes, right? Within reason. I've heard of some horror stories of people in relationships for, a decade, 2 decades, and kind of crazy stuff like that. I'm not really a fan of that per se, but I want y'all to let me know what you think about this guy's take and this panel's take on how long it should go from I meet you to I'm dating you to you're my girlfriend to you're my wife, etc. Pour a glass. Get ready to talk some trash. Let's go.
And asked you out within a week, you need to drop it. If you are not in a committed relationship within 2.5 to 3 months, you need to drop it.
Ooh.
If you are not engaged or married within 2 years, you need to drop it.
These are very short numbers to me. I think that the 2 years, in my opinion, seems to be an age thing. If I was 26, 27, and someone was ready to marry me in 2 years, I'd be like, oh, have we really experienced more yet? Are we in a financial place for marriage?
A man knows pretty quickly. I get at least 3 or 4 women into relationships every week. I have an engagement every month. What I will tell you is this. He knows probably within the first 6 months. And then after that, he is saving for a ring and a wedding. I literally have 5 men that are doing it for my clients right now.
Wolf told me once, Wolf's our engineer here, you told me a year to make someone your girlfriend. And you're saying 2 to 3 months.
Let me answer that. And this is why it's important for women to have boundaries. You shouldn't be waiting a year. Whoever knows that you are it will make it happen. He hasn't asked you out within a week, you need to drop it.
I'm not drunk enough for this one. All right, let's get into it. 1 week. 1 week is what he started out with. Timelines were 1 week, 2 or 3 months, 2 years. Results may vary, is the first thing I'm going to say about that. But I can say personally, in my relationship, in my marriage, that timeline was nothing like accurate. That timeline right there was not accurate at all. Within the first week, we were still just kind of having general conversation. Within the first couple of months, we were still doing the feeling each other out process, right? It was probably a good 6-7 months, maybe more than that, before we did anything official. And then it was 4 years before we got married. And we're coming up next month on year number 8 married, right? Now, am I saying that for a round of applause? Absolutely not. right? What I'm saying is, I don't know how much I agree with that timeline. I've also been in relationships before that, went pretty long, pretty lengthy, a couple years. I've been in some that went longer than that. I think everybody has their own timeline. Now, one thing I will say that I agree with that the guy said, and I would also question, I question his marital status as well. All right. I'm just saying, marriage advice from people who aren't married or who weren't married. I don't know. I'm just saying, lived experience is lived experience. Anyway, okay. So what he said was that a man knows after 6 months. I will say what I've said before, which is he may know after 6 months that he wants to marry you. It's going to take a lot longer than 6 months to find out if he should marry you. A lot longer than 6 months. Why? Life happens. I'm sorry, man. Life happens. People wear masks. People fake the funk. People lie. People make up things. People pretend because they're trying to get to a certain whatever status, whether it be financial or relationship or whatever. They're trying to get something out of that. And people will wear the mask for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. I think a litmus test is how much have y'all been through? How much have you been through? And have you been able to support each other and love each other and nothing die out in spite of what y'all are going through? Because things change you, man. Life will change you. What happens when one of you loses the job? What happens when, a bill can't get paid? What happens if the car gets repossessed? What happens if, you get evicted or foreclosed on? What happens if mom dies or dad dies or grandma dies and that's somebody that they were really close to? Right? Life happens. And I know I sound like a broken record. I'm sorry. Sort of, kind of. But like I always say, your vows are all of the above until death for a reason, right? For better or for worse means exactly that. Rich or poor means exactly that. Sickness and health means exactly that, et cetera, right? So I don't think it's right to put a timeline on anybody for how long it takes them to pop that question, how long it takes them to move forward. Now, I also think that age has something to do with it too. This is my opinion. I think age might have something to do with it too, right? We're talking about, I've been dating him since, we were 17 and now we're 24. It's been 7 years. What are we doing? Well, a lot of growth happens. Those of us who are well beyond age 24 know that a lot of growth happens between 18 and 25. And then even more growth happens between 25 and 30. And those of us who've made it to 40 know that a whole lot more happens between 30 and 40. And I can feel already on this journey from 40 to 45 that even more lessons are being learned. Okay. And you have to be ready to ride those waves, I think. And you may not know that after a year or two. You may not know that after a year or two. I think you certainly don't know that after a couple of months. So I think what we need to stop doing is putting timelines on people. Because let me tell you something. What you don't want to do is rush into nothing. That's how you end up in a marriage with somebody that you vowed to be with till death that you can't stand. Because something in them changed or something about them changed or whatever it is. And you aren't prepared to make that adjustment. And now you're in a relationship with somebody you can't stand. I think you have to understand people's seasons and you have to be prepared for that. And like I was saying last week when we talked about is love enough to keep you in a relationship? I say no, it's not enough. But I also think that if you're going to move forward long term in a marriage, you should move forward in a marriage with somebody that you have unconditional, undying agape love for. Right? No question about it. You need that kind of love for that person, I think, if you're going to be in a relationship with them. So I think again, overall, is we got to stop putting time limits on people's love. Look, if it take them 4 or 5 years, they took me 4 years based on my experiences, based on the things that I had, learned and went through. And not only that, quite frankly, the place that I was at in my life, it took me a lot more than 2 years. I'm so glad my wife didn't put that 2-year restriction on me, because I would have sure enough told her after 2 years to kick rocks. And I love my baby, don't get me wrong. But after 2 years, if she had put a restriction on me, like, it's been 2 years, so what's up? I'd have said, oh, you can go then. I'm just saying. And I would imagine she would have done the same thing. Right? So that's all. Ain't nothing against her, but look, if 2 years is enough for that guy, fantastic. If 1 year is enough for that guy, fantastic. I think it should be at least 2 years. That's just my honest opinion, because I think you can still be in a honeymoon phase and nothing go wrong. I've experienced this. Nothing go wrong for 18 months. Everything is just all good. Peachy Kane. We're, flying fancy free, right? For the first 18 months. And after that, little by little, shit start going downhill. In my opinion, it should be at least 2 years, a minimum of 2 years, in my opinion. But you ready when you ready. Stop putting time limits and restrictions on people. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Let me know. Am I preaching better than y'all saying amen? Or am I just talking trash? Y'all tell me what y'all think. Let's look at this comment real quick. Shout out to Diamond. What up, Virgo? Shout out to Team Virgo out here. I know we in Libra. We in Libra season right now. I get it. But we still in September. I'll celebrate you Libras in October. All right? It's Team Virgo over here. But anyway, here we go. He's on his own clock, obviously, and realistic. Everyone moves at a different pace. Do what works best for you. Exactly. Do exactly what works best for you. Jay Owens, he says 3 years. I think 3 years is fine. This is my opinion. Again, I think 3 years is fine. You go through in business. I think the threshold. And Maurice, I don't know if he's still on or not, man. He's good business mind. He could probably chime in and tell me a little bit better. But I think the threshold for a lot of businesses is about 5 years. Most businesses either succeed or fail in the first 3 years, right? First 5 years. Sorry, the first 5 years. 5 years is plenty of time. You get a good litmus test in 5 years. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. You have some good years, you have some bad years, some mid years or whatever. You learn a lot of lessons, you make a lot of mistakes, you get messy, right? In 5 years. I think while marriage does have a lot to do with love, it is also, a business decision. It's a business contract as well. And you got to be careful who you go into business with. I'm just saying, you just got to be careful who you go into business with. No offense to nobody. I hope nobody take it that way. You just got to be careful who you go into business with. And you got to know before you go into business and you put that investment out there that this is the person that you really want to be with. Let me tell you something, especially if you're a guy. Because for truth be told, marriage stands to benefit us if it doesn't work out, far less than it doesn't benefit them if it doesn't work out. Right? So you got to make sure that this is the person you're willing to essentially risk it all for. And is this person worth it? Right? I'm just saying. So I think 3 years is a good timeline. 3 years is good. By year 3, you'd have dealt with enough potential BS to have a good idea whether you could deal with it. Exactly. Right? You know what this person is about usually by about year 3. I'll say it took us 4 years to get married. After year 3, I can say I pretty much knew that this is what I wanted to do. So yeah, 3, 4. I think 2 is not quite long enough. 1 is Way too short, in my opinion. 3 years, I think, is good. I think that's solid. And to be honest with you, man, if you got somebody that can't grow with you for 3 years, then can you expect them to grow with you for the next 30? If they can't be patient and watch you grow and help you do your thing for 3 years or 4 years, I mean, would they honestly be there for you for the next 20 or 30? Again, I'm not saying let your ladies, I'm not saying let your time be wasted, fellas. I'm not saying let your time be wasted, right? And I'm not saying waste their time, but if they can't roll with you for a couple of years, man, are they really going to be there for you in year 20 and year 30 and year 40 when you're too sick and too hurt and you can't work? They're going to have your back when you go through the medical issues that you go through when you're older. I mean, we all do. We all have to go through it. They're going to be with you through that. You got to know who you're getting in. You got to know who you're getting into this agreement with, I think. Just my opinion, just my thoughts. All right. Let's move on to the next one. And this kind of, I think, goes along the same lines, right? This one, I believe, talks about the seasons in marriage and seasons in life, and are you prepared to deal with that? So here we go. Another toast. Let's get it.
See, we struggle in relationships because we fall in love with the original version and we don't update the hard drive. So now 2.0 Marcus is booted out of the system because we didn't update the hard drive or put enough capacity on it to accept the new things that come with him. A man gonna change after he been fired. A man's gonna change. A woman's gonna change after she reaches a certain age. Things happen when you go through menopause. Listen, not even that. I ain't the same person after my daddy died. When your mama died, you change. When your children move out and you're an empty nester, you change. So all of these things happen in life. So I'm becoming a different person in every one of these seasons. Right. So what we have to do in relationships, and me and my wife say this all the time, and everybody who listening right now, please understand, I don't consider myself an expert, but I do have some experience. What we have to do in relationships is make sure, and I learned this on the other side of the mountain. I wish I had known it up front. That when you get in relationship with somebody, make sure you have enough capacity in yourself for their change. Because if you only have enough room for who they are, you're going to be disenfranchised when they change on you, because they will change. Right.
Yeah. You know, wasn't trying to steal that guy's thunder, but I mean, he's pretty much said exactly what I was saying. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Like I said, life happens, man, and you got to be prepared to go through those seasons, right? And this is more so for the people who are looking for a long-term relationship, right? You know, now if you just out here having fun, more power to you. If you just out here doing your thing, do it. Do it. If you just out here playing the field, do it. Go for it. This is for the people who have a desire eventually to have a long-term marriage, relationship, companion, etc. When you're considering that and you're considering these people, you have to consider whether or not you are willing. I got to just say it frankly. I don't know how else to say it. Whether you're willing to put up with their bullshit. Straight up. Because we all got bullshit. You got bullshit. I got bullshit. We all do. Okay? So the question is, are you willing to put up with this man's bullshit or this woman's bullshit? And the potential threat of increase of bullshit. Right? Are you willing? Are you ready? Are you prepared? Do you have the capacity to deal with all of life's changes. Also understanding that they have to deal with all of your life changes. Cause you ain't no wildflower neither. You know, you think you so great. You think you so great. I'm talking to me, and I'm talking to you. You think you so great because they got to put up with your bullshit too. Are you willing to put up with all the seasons, all the changes, everything that they go through? That's why I don't believe in putting timelines on things. Because I might have just caught you on a good day. I might have just caught you in a good season. Yeah, everything is good when you got the good job and you making the good money and you got the nice car and you got the nice house and you feel like the world is yours. What happens when the world starts to crumble down on you? When it starts to crumble down on your head, that'll change you. That can change you. And is your spouse, are they going to be there for you when that happens? I love how he mentioned, you know, I'm not the same after, you know, I lose my mom. Or in my case, my dad, right? I might not be the same. Or it could be a grandparent. I'm not, you know, and I don't know how to cope with that. Right? I don't know how to handle that. Because I never lost a parent before. Because my parent has always been there for me. Literally. Always been there for me, and now they're not there for me no more, and I don't know how to handle that. Or I was in a previous relationship, and I thought that one was the one, and that one used me real bad. That one used me up, and I don't know how to recover from that, and I'm still working on that, and I still need therapy, and I still need to pray and go to church and fast, because I don't know how to handle that. Can you handle that? Can you be with me while I handle that? Can you be my rock when I handle that? While I handle that? I can't talk. I've been drinking. Shut up. Don't judge me. Can you be my rock while I handle that? Seriously. Things might change when things start going rough at the job. See, it was different when I was the king. There's a song by Coldplay. I'm not actually sure the name of the song no more, but you know, I know the lyrics are, I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone and sweep the streets I used to own. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes. Listen as the crowd would sing, now the old king is dead, long live the king. That was when I ruled the world. See, it's different when the world is in your hands. You can do all kind of stuff, but when you got to sweep the streets that you used to own, is she going to be there for you? Ladies, when you start getting older and your body starts going all funhouse mirror on you, right? Okay? You know, your hair starts to get a little thinner. You start to turn a little gray. Things start to happen to you. Is he going to be there for you? You start going through the older things, menopause, things like that. Is he going to be there for you? Has he got your back? Will he sacrifice? Will he forsake all others? Y'all ain't ready for me. All right, I'm going to move on. I'm having a good time. Y'all having a good time? I hope y'all having a good time. Let me know if y'all having a good time. Enjoying the conversation. All right. Let's get into something else. Another viewer submission. I'm just gonna play this one. Pull your glasses. Let's get down to business. Let's talk about it.
As soon as a woman calls herself independent, that's a red flag to me. We don't like independent women. We do like self-sufficient women, but there's a major difference between the two. We don't mind self-sufficiency. A woman that has her own career, her own place, cars, money, businesses, we don't mind that. But the minute you start to idolize your independence is where we see red flags, because there's a certain spirit that comes along with that. It's the I don't need anybody paradigm. Let's flip it. How would women feel if they met a man and every time he spoke, he sounded like, I pay my own bills and they're all in my name. I live on my own. I don't need nobody. She'd probably say like, bro, you're an adult. You're supposed to do that. Like, are you good? Like, is there a chip on your shoulder? Like, but even deeper to the point, I'll never make my woman feel like I don't need her. Can you imagine how I would look to a woman who liked me if I walked around shouting how independent I am or how I don't need anybody? Like, imagine how that would make her feel. Nah, I'm waking up every day and reassuring her that I want her, I desire her, and I need her. I'm not a weak man for admitting I need my woman. But I'm worried that some women are so attached to that independent teaching that they're going to independent themselves right into a lonely life. Or worse, form an attachment but still perceive the relationship through an independent field of view.
Okay. INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means? All the women who independent, lend me your ears. Let me explain. All right, so there's a saying that goes that women need to be wanted and men want to be needed. I'm going to say it again. Women need to be wanted and men want to be needed. What do we mean by that? Okay. Does this mean that men don't also want to be wanted? Of course not. Does this mean that women don't also want to be needed? Of course not. But the dominant thought is that women like to be sought after, whereas men like to be relied on. All right. Why do you feel the need to go and look sexy for yourself? Whatever that means. It's because you want to feel wanted. You want to feel like you a head turner. You want to feel like you the headliner. You want to feel like you the main event, the main attraction, the star of the show, the belle of the ball. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's just call it what it is. I think ultimately, in my LB Rich, the inspirational King Rich says this all the time. If that's what it is, just own it. Whatever it is, own it. Okay, so why do you do that? Because by nature, by pure nature, you need to be wanted. You need to be affirmed that, you know, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you got a great body, you know, all these things, right? And a lot of women, let's be honest, a lot of women, you know, go to extreme lengths to prove that they are worth being wanted, worth being sought after, right? But men, we want to be needed. So a woman, automatically, a woman saying, I don't need a man, automatically drains your pool of men. Because men naturally want to be needed. Okay? Now, men are also naturally providers. We have our outlook on the protection of our family, the protection of things that belong to us, the things that are ours. And yes, you, wife, you belong to us, right? That's how we look at it. That's how you should look at it too, and that's okay. That's why you take our last name. You belong to me. It means you are in my care and in my protection and under my provision. So yes, I'm going to take care of you because you belong to me. My kids, they came out of my body. That life came out of my body, went into your body, cooked inside your body for about 9 months, and now it came out as a baby. That's how it works. Okay. So that I'm protecting that because that's mine. This house, this is where I live. This is my castle. I'm going to protect that. Our finances, that's our way of maintaining life. I'm going to protect that and make sure I'm providing for you as best as I can. Do the best I can to keep you happy. Needed. Okay? Doesn't matter, actually, for the man, for a lot of men, actually. It doesn't even matter for a lot of men if they're attractive. They're needed for something. They're needed for their ability to build things, or their ability to be protective, or their ability to provide because they've got money, or whatever it is. They're needed for different things, and that's what men want. We want to be needed. So what am I saying? Is there anything wrong with being independent and being self-sufficient? Absolutely not. That's what the guy was saying too. Okay? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that's how you want to be, and you want to make sure that, if you have a career, you have a path, you want to go on that path, I think you should be allowed to do that. And I also think that if that is in alignment with the man that you're dating and his goals, then that's a good thing. And if not, then you should find somebody who is in alignment with that. So if that's what you want to do, go for it. But the idea that you don't need a man for nothing, you don't need me for nothing, you can have another me in a minute, you can leave tomorrow. Well, why would I want to be with that? The odds are already not in my favor. We have kids and we break up. Child support is going to come knocking on my door. We get married and it don't work out. Alimony going to come knocking on my door. And I'm going to have to pay that money for a long time, for quite some time. I'm already taking more of a risk here. And I won't say more of a risk. I'm already taking a risk here. And then you going to tell me that you don't need me? You can replace me tomorrow? Well, why the shit I'm going to be with that? What am I going to be with that for? Certainly not going to be enthusiastic about it, Anyway, that's my thought. That's my thought. I got a question. We got a question? What would you say to the man that wants to be needed, but also prides himself on being independent? Wants to be needed, but prides himself on being independent. If by priding yourself on being independent, you mean saying, I don't need anybody, I'm self-made, nobody can do for me what I can do for me, like that kind of thing. If that's what you mean, what I would say to them is that they need to get their ego in check. And I'd probably say to the woman dealing with that person, with that guy, that's probably not the one. He's probably not the one. He's probably not the one. Right? I'm just saying. Because if he doesn't feel like he needs you or wants you and just you, then you're just another option. Your box is just on the shelf. How much do I pay for you? How much do I pay for your box? Right? So, and also to a guy, if you're thinking about going long term with a woman, I think you should be with a woman who you need, but also who you want, who's going to bring you peace. Okay, so what are the things that women have to that do that men can't do for themselves, generally speaking, right? Women provide peace, not that men can't provide peace for themselves. Women provide peace in a different way, in a very different way, especially if they love you, if they care about you. Their perception of your peace is very different. So trust me when I tell you, you want a woman that can do that, and you probably need a woman that can do that. Their perception of peace is different. The way they cook for you is different. The way they take care of you is different. The way they revere you is different. You need somebody that wants you or needs you as much as you want them. That's what I would say to a guy like that. You need somebody that needs you as much as you want them. And you got to want them, I think my opinion is, you got to want them about to the point where you need them. Like the guy was saying, it's not that I don't need, I'll say it from my experience. It's not that I want my wife, but I also need my wife too. Because she makes my life better and easier in so many different ways. So I would never let her go around thinking that I don't need her. No, I mean, would I be able to survive without her? Yes, of course, right? And yes, I can survive, and I would live. It would be very hard. It'd be different. It'd be adjustment. But no, but I also don't want to go through none of that. I want that one. You know? And so that's what I would say to a guy like that. You need to get a woman that makes you feel that way. You know? I would also make the argument that a guy thinking like that is probably coming from a place of hurt. Probably. I don't know. But probably coming from a place of hurt. As I would argue, many women who have the independent, mentality, independent woman mentality, are also coming from a place of hurt. So I think that's something that we also need to understand and you have to work through. Now, I'm not going G&T us tonight, but you should pray and you should get some therapy, right? Get some spiritual work and get some practical work. Okay, get some of that, get some of them things worked on. Just saying. So that's my thought. I hope that answered your question, Diamond. I've been drinking, so if it didn't, I'm sorry, but I hope that answered your question. Okay, all right. Let's keep on moving. I gotta get a new chair, man. This thing is squeaky. Y'all hear this? Can y'all hear this? Y'all hear all that crap? I gotta get a new chair, man. Stop playing these games. Okay, on to the next one. Next viewer submission.
Three things I wish I knew about dating now that I am married. Stop dating, even if it's for a second. Please stop basing your entire existence, your entire 20s, or adult life as a whole on being chosen, sis. You'll have a better outcome with men when they see you choosing yourself. And number two, you need that single phase to really prepare you to be the best in a relationship. Because the moment you know how to actually be alone, you go into the dating world a different person. And number three is going to trigger somebody. But you don't have to be physically intimate with everybody that you date. Sometimes you can actually date with the intentions of getting to know yourself better. Baby, nothing teaches you your triggers more than a man.
That's some funny shit. Nothing teaches you your triggers more than a man. That's probably true, actually. That's probably accurate. Okay, so my reaction to that. I agree with a good bit of that. Let's work backwards. You ain't got to sleep with everybody that you deal with. So I'm going to assume specifically she's talking from a woman's perspective. And it's not saying that this doesn't apply to guys too. It absolutely does. Because let me just first say to the fellas that, clapping cheeks cloud your judgment. Just call it what it is. Clapping cheeks cloud your judgment. Right? I'm not saying it's going to guarantee that you're going to make bad decisions or anything like that. I'm just saying clapping cheeks cloud your judgment. If you clap many cheeks, you'll probably have many judgment issues. Am I saying don't go clap cheeks? Nope. I'm just saying understand what you're getting yourself into when you do it. Ladies, I say the same thing. Getting your cheeks clapped cloud your judgment. Am I saying don't do it? I'd be a hypocrite if I said don't. So I'm not going to do that. But I think you have to be mindful of some of these things, and particularly the women. Okay? Let's give you another saying. A key that opens many locks is a valuable key. A lock that can be opened by many keys is a useless lock. Let me say it again. Because I'm sure somebody going to listen to this. I know this ain't the first time you heard it. Some of y'all heard this before. But a key that can open many locks is a valuable key. A lock that can be opened by many keys is a useless lock. Ladies, you're the lock. I'm just saying, you are the gatekeepers of sex. Unless you get, I got to find a better word. We'll say graped. Unless you're graped. And I condemn every bit of that, right? But unless you're graped, whatever he did, he met your criteria, whatever that criteria was. So what am I saying? Well, yeah, there may be a fun or dangerous aspect to experiencing many different keys. However, ultimately that clouds your judgment. And again, a lock that can be opened by many keys is a useless lock. Probably not a good idea to sleep around with everybody. That's all I'm saying. Probably not a good idea to sleep around with everybody. I ain't about to say you just don't do it, because again, that would make me a hypocrite. And I'm not going to do that. But I think it's important to be mindful who you do these things with and who you allow to have that kind of access to you. And that's for everybody, ladies and gentlemen. But ladies in particular, because a lock that can be opened by many keys is a useless lock. Okay? So I'm just saying in particular. I'm not saying this don't apply to the fellas. I'm just saying in particular. Because honestly, if you think about it, if the ladies were also locking it down, then the dudes wouldn't be able to sleep around as much either. So, you know, if a guy has 200 bodies, that means 200 different women said, okay. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right. All right. If she has 200 bodies, that means she said, okay, 200 times. That's a difference. There's a big difference. If she got 200 bodies, that means she said okay to 200 people. Whereas if a guy got 200 bodies, that means 200 different women said okay. You may enter. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why body counts matter. All right? We've been having this argument on social media. I've been seeing this argument on social media for years now. Why do body count matter? That's why body count matters. That's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why body count matters. And to quote the great Lauryn Hill, if you did it then you'd probably again. I'm just saying. I'm just giving y'all an idea of the thought process. Now, this is also, let's tie it back to the beginning. This is also why it takes, because we're not in a world anymore where you were the town whore if you had 3 bodies. We're not in that world anymore. Most of you have a lot more than 3 bodies. We're just not living in that time anymore. Okay, fine. But that don't mean you just go sleeping around with any old body, any old time. This is not how you do it. It's not good for you. All right? It's not good for you. It's not good for them. It's not good for nobody. And fellas too. Fellas too. How people get caught up with the exes and get caught up with okay, I see you. Get caught up with exes, get caught up with other people. Why? Because they all say, they saying, hey, you can have access. Most men don't have access. Just sitting around chilling. Most of us don't got access. There's a few of us that do. Most of us don't. You get that man access, he gonna take the access. I'm just saying. Just saying. Let's call it what it is. Right? The other point she made. About dating yourself and learning more about you. Dating to learn about you. I don't think that's a bad idea. I don't know if that's considered dating so much as that's considered like, generally going out. I mean, I don't know. I guess the definitions may be a little bit different. Some people, dating might be just going out on a date, hanging out with people and finding out some things about them. And it also might be sitting exclusively talking to them about. So I don't know what y'all consider dating, right? But I think it is good to learn yourself, to learn things about you before you go taking you to somebody else and expecting them to accept you for who you are. You might don't accept you for who you are. So I think that's a pretty good point. Now, I don't know about dating in order to learn more about you. I'm not sure how that works. But I think learning more about you is very important. And then the last thing is just stop dating, period. Just go learn how to be alone. I look, there is a freedom to just being by yourself. And there's a freedom to knowing that it's okay for you to be by yourself. So that way you don't get yourself caught up in the line of fire trying to keep somebody that don't want to keep you. You call us fumbling you, but actually they was punting you away. They didn't fumble you, they punted you. You gotta know the difference, right? So I think it's important to know that you can be by yourself and everything you do, right? So that's my thought on that. Now, I got okay, it's time. Okay, I think I see you. Kev, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. I can hear you. So that's a good sign. All right, so that's good stuff. So we got our guy back. He's coming back from the game. He's gonna tell us a little bit about it. He's back in the game. Kev, he's back with us, dog. What's up with you, man? How you feeling? Uh-oh. I think we lost you. I ain't got no volume on you. Hold on.
Test. It's just no picture. Is it no picture?
No, I think we got volume now. We didn't have no picture, but I think now we got picture. We got a black picture and volume.
Oh. That's all right. We'll figure the picture part out. There's a little circle going, but we have volume.
I think we got volume. I can hear you now.
Okay, fantastic. All right, well we'll go with that part for now until we figure out what's happening with the picture, because surely my camera's on. But what's good, everybody? It's good to be able to pop on. I'm definitely making my way home from a terrible football game, so we lost to Bowie. It was the Battle of 197, and Bowie had our number today. So. But it's fun to be in the booth, fun to work with students, So we'll take that part. But I came in, hearing you talking good, so I was just trying to take a piece in. What we talking about?
Yeah, man, no, all good, bro. I just played a video with a young lady who was talking about things that she wished she knew. Excuse me, before she got married. One of the things, the last thing, and that's kind of, I think this is where you came in on. The third thing that she said was that she realized you don't have to sleep around with everybody, in order to find the one, basically. And that's kind of what I was talking about when you jumped in. Did you want to speak up on that, or?
Hey, sure, why not? I'm wholeheartedly with her, and I'll modify what I say, because I'm in a special place, so y'all go with me and understand what I'm saying. guys are often told to get rid of one before we come in contact with a person of interest, because you don't, it's kind of like going to the supermarket hungry. If you go to the supermarket hungry, yes, sir. When you go to the supermarket hungry, you tend to pick up things off the shelf that you don't really want. And so, it's good to have something on your stomach so that you're not making unnecessary purchases. And I think the same applies in this instance. If you approach things with the wrong, with the wrong mentality, you're bound to just do whatever and then either have regrets later or just still feel unsatisfied with what it is that you did. So I can definitely understand that that's not necessary. I wish there was a lot of information that I had received younger, because of course we kind of were told to have a come into America kind of moment, where you just go and sow your royal oats, and then when you come back you can find your bride. Like that's how our community kind of puts it out there. And I think if we were taught, and I'm talking about guys, just how sacred everything about us was and is, how important everything about us is, then we wouldn't take that approach, because it is just as important for us, I think, as it is for women. So you do, when your focus is on like actually getting to know a person, and when you're thinking from a logical and emotional standpoint as opposed to a physical one, your head is a lot clearer to make more conscious decisions that are better for you in the long run. What is that? The saying something about temporary pleasures and what how detrimental those can be. So that's where my mind goes with that one.
Yeah, no, absolutely right, man. I'm with you on that 100%. And again, that's the whole thing. And the I guess the quote I've been using for this one is that a key that can open many locks is a valuable key, but a lock that can be opened by many keys is a useless lock, right?
Right.
And well, yeah, we can use the whole lock and key reference as far as men and women are concerned, the men being the key and the women being the lock, which I did use that reference earlier. The truth of the matter is that, back to Kev's point, what we have is also sacred too. It's sacred. It's important for us too, right? And we shouldn't necessarily just be out here doing all that kind of stuff. Again, that clouds your judgment overall, right? Like, our overall judgment is clouded once cheeks get clapped, and this is everybody. Whether you're the one getting your cheeks clapped or you're the one clapping cheeks, the judgment gets clouded after that, right? And I think that messes things up as far as long-term commitments and long-term relationships are concerned. A lot of times I'm hearing stories left and right now about people who are out here in these streets, and then they settle down, and now they settle down with that person, and they're bored. And they're bored because they're used to being out here in these streets, right? So it's like if you've had all 31 flavors at Baskin Robbins, chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, they ain't fun no more. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you. And so, but to that point, because we have lived in a flavor filled life, conversations have to be had as adults about your expectations, when you go into these situations. And I think that's a part that gets, ignored. Like I'm just a big fan of laying everything out on the table up front, because, when you have that kind of candidness, that kind of honesty, then, nobody in the party can say, well, I was misled. And so again, if you had all the flavors and you enjoy all the flavors, you gotta find somebody who's willing to be all the flavors. But you also can't, want all the flavors, somebody tell you that they're vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry, and then you get mad that they're vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. They told you what it was. And so, find your person that says I can be 31 flavors.
Yep. Or just keep going around sampling more flavors.
And that's a thing too.
You know what I'm saying? Just own that. Just accept that that's just what it is, and you just gonna be out here. You just gonna be a sampler. You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right, cool. That's just what you're gonna be. I had a friend of mine a little while back told me that she was totally fine, and actually I think I haven't spoke to her in some time, but I think she still kind of is. But she told me, oh man, almost 20 years ago, that she had no problem being a side chick. You know, she was just okay with that. She was okay with being the side chick. She was okay with having side chick babies. She was okay with, you know, side chick privileges or whatever. You know, side chick, not main chick, but you know, side chick privilege. And again, I think if I don't know, but I think to this day, you know, I think she has kids, but you know, they're not. I don't believe. I could be wrong, but I don't believe they're married. So, if that's what my point is, this they're happy. She's happy. He's happy. If that's what it is, then just accept that that's what it is. Right? If you're okay with being the one on the side while he goes off and does his thing, cool. Be that. Be that. You could be like Mrs. Willie Brown, you know, and say, yeah, once you get sworn in for mayor, though, it's going to be me, you know. So Willie Brown had to tell Kamala to kick rocks. All right. I'm saying.
Not fooling with you.
I'm just saying. You know, y'all look, y'all know me. Y'all might don't like what I got to say, but y'all know I ain't gonna bullshit you. Anyway, I got one more for us to react to. You're gonna know exactly what it is as soon as you see it. But I want to say this with a bit of a pinch of salt, and then say that I know a lot of times people will watch this stuff and they'll hear it, but they actually won't listen one way or the other. And it just kind of is what it is. So that we know this. We just gonna keep trying to do our thing, knowing that some of y'all ain't listening anyway. So whatever. It's just what it is. Let's take a look at this first date. And I think every guy should play this game with their woman. And this should be the litmus test as to whether or not y'all should have a second date, whether you should wait a year, 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years on this chick, if she's even worth waiting for. This is the litmus test right here.
0 acierto. 0 acierto. 1 acierto.
Hay que regresar.
1 acierto.
El verde. No, el verde estaba aquí y el naranja estaba aquí. Así.
0 acierto.
Bien. No lo regreses.
1 acierto.
¿Y el verde que va aquí? El naranja es el que va aquí. El naranja déjalo ahí.
0 acierto.
No muevas eso.
1 acierto. 0 acierto.
Bien.
2 acierto.
El rosa, el fucsia. No, el fucsia va aquí. A ver, ahí.
1 acierto.
Bien. Estos dos déjalos aquí.
1.
Esto, el verde, no me...
2 acierto.
No, Ramón, deja el naranja aquí porque el naranja va aquí.
1 acierto.
El naranja, déjalo aquí, no lo muevas. Sí, el naranja va aquí. Y el fucsia también, déjalo ahí. Esto no lo muevas, mueve de aquí para allá.
0 acierto.
Viste que no sabe.
0 acierto.
Bien.
1 acierto.
El rojo es el otro que... El rojo va aquí.
0 acierto.
Bien. Vamos bien.
Bien.
Sí, porque estoy haciendo un descartamiento.
1 acierto.
Un acierto quiere decir que es el fucsia. Ahí.
0 acierto.
El fucsia.
1 acierto.
El azul. El fucsia va aquí. Escucha, un acierto.
1 acierto.
El fucsia. No me muevas el fucsia.
¿Y aquí es el rojo?
No me muevas ni el fucsia ni el naranja. Eso si tú quieres mueve, pero el fucsia y el naranja son aciertos. Pero... No, esto no me va. 1. Esto no me lo muevas. No me lo...
3 aciertos.
Este y el rojo. El fucsia, el naranja y el rojo aquí.
0 acierto.
No se está equivocando. Él a veces se equivoca.
¿Él?
Sí,
no sé, no es
pero
tú.
Tú síguele. No, el jurado, pero tú dale. No le pongas cuidado. Tú solo escúchame a mí. Estos dos no lo muevas.
¿Cuáles dos?
Estos dos. Desde un principio yo sé que estos son aciertos.
Un acierto.
El rojo va aquí. Un acierto. Es este el acierto. Ahorita que dice cero, mira.
0 acierto.
No sabe. Pero tú juegas. No sabe.
¿Vengo yo?
Sí, pero es para que no me muevas esto.
¿Cuál?
Esto no me lo muevas.
Pero ya ves que yo quiero jugar.
Sí, pero es que tú me estás dañando la jugada a mí también.
Yo quiero jugar para allá.
No puedes porque esto es un acierto, dijo él, lo dijo hace ratico.
¡Ay! 3 aciertos. ¿Viste? Pero ¿por qué le echas?
Porque él no sabe, el jurado no sabe. Así déjamelo.
Un acierto.
El fucsia y el naranja, yo siempre lo dije. Te vas a caer tú solito. Te vas a caer tú solito. No estás jugando bien.
No, sí.
Vas a perder. No. Te dije aquí el naranja y aquí el fucsia.
Yo creo que vas a
No, ahí no va. Voltéalo. Aquí va el fucsia. No, aquí va el fucsia.
¿Así?
Sí.
¡Ay! ¡Ay!
Sí,
es cierto. ¿Viste? Yo te dije.
Shit pisses me off every time I see it. Pisses me off every time. Kev, weigh in, man. I'm not high enough for this.
I just want y'all to see my angry face. Huh?
Did you hear me when I wanted to eat?
Yes, I heard you. We're gonna get it. Yes, sir. Listen. The strength that man had to not strike her is amazing. Because I probably wouldn't. Two things that happen. Either one, like I'm walking off from the game, or I'm striking. Like, cause what? And it's like, I think because I've seen this a few times, and it makes me the same kind of angry every time. Like, I come to new realizations. It's kind of like, reading the same passage of the Bible and interpreting it different ways every time. So, like, for me, I've never really paid, like, attention to the voice that's directing them from the other side. So, like, not only is she not listening to the man that's, like, working with her, she's not even listening to the voice that's telling her, you got one of them right. Like, he's got 3 of them right. You have 4, like, so you mean to tell me you are willing to die on the hill of having your way from 2 people standing in the same space telling you the same thing? It is a level of frustration that drives me up a wall. And, like, that is the accountability of some. Did y'all hear me say some? Because I said some. Some women. You can tell them, and they can hear it from a bunch of places, and they're not willing to take correction. Like, they don't respond to criticism, like, with a lens that, if I keep hearing this over and over and over, it's a me thing. And so, like, y'all gotta let that habit go. That's just a bad habit. It's not gonna get you very far. And if you're questioning, like, why am I not getting the responses that I'm looking for? Why are people not, like, sticking with me and those kinds of things? It's probably because the accountability factor is missing. And that video makes me so angry.
She'd rather be wrong her way than pay attention to what's around her and win. She had him who was getting it right. Like you said, you had the lady telling her what the right answers were. Simple answer. If you had 2 right and then you moved 1 and now you got 1 right, well, that means you moved one of the right ones. But again, she'd rather be right in her way. Now, she wants to win the game, but she wants to win the game her way. She wants the rules to bend her way. And that's the problem with a lot of women. There's a lot of women that's like that. You don't want to do what's necessary to win. You just want to win and have the rules conform to you. And that's another example of that. You're not going to win that way. You can't win that way. Okay? And fellas, we got to be smart enough. Listen, his patience with her was top tier in that video, but the video had to end. And I'm going to tell you something. In my honest opinion, I think he broke up with her the moment he won that game. He probably took her back home after that carnival, probably took her back home and was like, yeah, this is over. We're done. I'm not calling you back. That's what he should do. He's smart if he does that. In my opinion, the only way he's not doing that is if the box or the head game is crazy. And that goes back to what I said earlier about how clapping cheeks clouds your judgment.
Clouded judgment.
Clouded judgment, because there's no way she survives this relationship after that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you know what that just made me think of? So we took K2 to the Timonium little fair, and like, you know, one for certain games we let him try, but even as co-parents, like K2's mom would look to me to win certain games. And, you know, as you see like the other, you know, families and couples that were walking around, it was rare that I saw, you know what I'm saying, a woman play the game before the man. Like, they would let the man play the game. And, you know, if he couldn't, then they would say, you know, do you want me to try? Like, that communication was there. But like in general, the thought is, I'm going to let the man lead. Like, I want him to lead us to victory. Like, that's how teams work. And so like it's amazing to see that as they play this game together, that she wouldn't lean to the man to be like, you know what I'm saying, the strength and intelligence, especially because again, he was getting them right. So like there's so many things about this that bother me, but it's like you said, like, and you know, for some people this may seem like a small thing, but it's not, because if you can't even like listen to me for something as trivial as a game where you're getting it wrong and I'm getting it right, when you know we got to make big financial decisions and you don't listen, what does that do for our finances? When we got to make, you know, if you've got to make health decisions for me, you know what I'm saying, what kind of mindset are you making them with? Are you making them selfishly, or do you truly have my best interest at heart? Like, that's going to make me question all of your like processing and decision making as a partner. You know what I'm saying? If you were playing this game by yourself, cool, do what you do, but we're supposed to be working together. You took the team out of it. You tried to spell team with an I.
And you can't spell team with an I. You know, in the end, you just can't. I mean, and you're right. You're absolutely right. Like that, it goes into so much. It becomes so much deeper than this game, because how you do anything is how you do everything. Right? I'm gonna say that one more time too. Somebody put it in the comments. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if this is how she acts in a game, oh, I promise you, it's up. In a life decision, it's up. If she has kids, like outside of him, it's up with any decisions that have to do with their kids. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And again, that goes back to, that all goes back to, is this the person? Is this the person that you truly trust to be with you when you get older? You got to know these things early. Man, God forbid, so Kev, one of the topics we discussed earlier was the timeline. There was a video where the guy was talking about how if he doesn't ask you out and after about a week, then you should let it go. If he don't make you his girlfriend after like 2-3 months, you should let it go. If he don't marry you after 2 years, you should let it go. Right? I'm gonna get your feedback on that in a second. I know you're getting yourself together, getting in the house and all that. But That, guys, could you imagine if they're married already and she's acting like that? Like, how jacked up is that? I feel bad for that guy. I'm crying. I'm shedding real tears. I'm shedding real life tears for that guy. If he is married right now, today, to that woman, or at the time of that recording, if he's married to that woman at the time of that game, and he didn't have time over years to figure out that this is who she is, oh man, that's terrible. And let me tell you something. I've dated some control. Show me how controlling they were for a couple of years. It was some time before I realized that I was being manipulated. I was also very young at that time. That's neither here nor there. I'm just saying it took some time before I realized it. You know, and that's how you get got. You gotta give this time. Like we got to quit trying to microwave everything. I get it. I know we here for a good time, not a long time. All right, okay. You only live once. I get that too. But future you will thank you for the decisions you make today. Okay? Or future you is gonna be pissed off with your dumb ass because you went and did something today that future you is not suffering for. Jump in, kid.
I mean, you know, you hitting it on the nose. But to, like you say, how you do anything is how you do everything. And it just keeps going back to partnership. And if your intentions are to build with someone, then everything that you do would be done with them in mind. And so like there's nothing about this video that does not bother me on the deepest level, because again, like, imagine like taking her into an escape room.
Y'all trapped. You're gonna be trapped forever.
No, forever. Babe, they said the key is in the closet, behind the map that points to buried treasure. That's a pirate map. But you keep taking us to the map that has Kiss, the rock band, on it. So you keep trying to unlock behind this map, and they said it's a pirate map. Like, we're gonna be stuck here forever because not only are you not listening to the instructions, you're not listening to me. I can't.
It's got to, like, you can't listen to either one.
Yeah.
You can't listen to the instructions given to you or your husband. That's that Eve spirit. That's that Jezebel spirit. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, because one thing. If those of you, y'all, if you know of Jezebel and Ahab, go read the story of Jezebel and Ahab. Ahab was a simp. Ahab was a straight up simp. Just let her do any old thing, right? Just let anything happen with her. Let my man. You want to drive through? You want to drive through? I ain't mad at it because I'm. He probably turning me down so the guy can hear him. I ain't mad at it.
Dude, you ain't hear K2 behind me saying, "Did you hear what I said I wanted to eat?"
I ain't mad at you, K2. He said he's hungry, man. Little bro say he's hungry. I get it.
I heard you.
But anyway, yeah, man. That's look, fellas, that's not the type of woman you want, man. And we can get into, and y'all can feel free to send videos in to let us, talk. We can talk about controlling guys too. I'm all for keeping the playing field level. But man, look, there's no protection without correction. That's how I go, right, Kev? That's it, right?
Get it on a t-shirt.
Get it on a shirt, man. I'm telling you, we super quotable today. This episode 92 is the most quotable episode in Up to It, Down to It history. Okay, we had them lined up. I had them lined up all day. But there's no protection without correction, man. And if you can't accept a minor correction, like, no, the blue one was right and the red one was right, then I shudder to think what happened when it's a big decision, man. Ladies, don't be like that. If you are like that, examine yourself and don't be like that. Work on that. Work on yourself. Go get some therapy. And fellas, if you're dating somebody that's like that, run, nigga. Run. Run. Run away and never return. That's just what I think, though. That's what I think.
It ain't a bad thought.
Just saying. But all right, but anyway, that's it, man. It's 10:30. We went a little bit over, but hey, we having a good time. I'm glad to have had you on for that last segment. We're going to be back on in 2 weeks. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But as we like to do, Kev, on your way home, take us out, my brother.
I'm trying to figure out where my thoughts are tonight. I probably because I'm leaving the football game and around kids, like I do want us to just keep in mind, like, well, let's go deeper than that. Like, be in prayer for our youth, and their minds and their decision making. And if you are somebody who comes in contact with them often, like, just find something positive to say to them. And I know a lot of what we see is negative, but the reality is a lot of our kids just don't hear anything positive ever, like on a daily basis. And that's a scary thought, to know that they can be out of the house for 16, 18 hours at a time and never hear one positive thing to them. So let's start speaking more positively over our kids, and for what it's worth, let's just be a little more kind to each other. People are fighting battles that we never see, dealing with things that we would have no idea about, just because they choose not to share, or it's just a burden they're choosing to carry themselves. So before you open your mouth to speak negative to somebody, just consider that they might be going through a battle that you don't know about. So we're going to choose to be positive. We're going to choose to be kind. We're going to choose to uplift, and that should be the start to the change of a lot of things that are happening around us.
Well said, my brother. Well said, man. Always a pleasure hearing from you. Guys, I thank y'all for riding with me on this journey. I hope I didn't bore you to tears. I know y'all had to just sit here and listen to my big ass mouth for the last hour and a half or so. So I appreciate all you guys rolling with me and listening. While we held it down, man. And shout out again to Kev and Rich in particular for doing their thing as dads. And Rich also doing his thing as a husband, man. Just very proud of the guys that I'm surrounded by. Blessed to have them all in my circle, man. As I always like to say, man, it's just, you got to keep your head on the swivel. You got to keep your eyes open. Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. There is a war for your mind. Look, there's just a lot of stuff going on, man. And I think we have to do a good job of, a studious job of guarding our eyes, guarding our eye gate, guarding our ear gate. Because if we're not careful, literally anything can creep up in there, not just for ourselves, but that's for the next generation. That's for our kids. We have to be careful what things we allow in. You do whatever you do as far as your God. Whatever you do is between you and your God, whoever your God is. But for me and my house, we serve the Lord. So in my honest opinion, it's all about making sure that you have God at the forefront of your life, and get some therapy if necessary. Get yourself around some good people that are quality, upstanding people. If you ain't got none of those, then tune in to us every Friday, because we some good ones out here, and that's what it is. That's it. We out of here, man. Shout out again to all of y'all in the comments. We love y'all. Y'all the best at everything that we do. What up, K2? Good blood. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Shout out to Morgan's Homecoming on Friday the 5th. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
A woman who succeeds in changing her man will eventually grow to resent him and subconsciously label him as unsafe and weak. This is a trauma response to growing up with a weak father who could not stand up and protect her, a father who also couldn't stand up to her mother.
Mothers of children repeatedly violate the fathers of their children. And as a man, you've got to take it. You've got to find a way in which to get violated a lot of the time, right? And just roll with it. And next week, you're talking about this child's school uniform. As if...
Honestly, I think this is what happens when, like, as a community, people can't criticize you, because this is by far the most unacceptable shit that has ever been placed on the planet. Like, even the kids in the Chinese factory was like, "Chimboy, gay."
For the Force, the King, the Kamikaze, and the Great Interval, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you had a good time tonight. Tune in next week. It's sure to be a crazy night. We'll dig into all the shenanigans next week. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and tell a friend to follow us. Catch you on the next round.